it did the thing. Just when I thought the Mercury Marauder couldn't be any cooler, we have this. But before we get into the details of this absolutely insane build, a huge shout out to today's sponsor, HP Tuners. HP Tuners is an incredibly user-friendly data logging software and tuning software that I've been using for pretty much a decade. I typically use HP Tuners for my Fords, but you can use it with all sorts of different platforms. And HP Tuners has the most advanced OBD interface out there, the MPVI3. Simply plug in your MPVI3, hook it up to your laptop, and you're good to go. It's absolutely fantastic just to kind of check in on things, make some tweaks, and when you get to the track, you have accurate data for you to analyze and figure out what to do with next. It's super simple, it's easy to use, and HP Tuners even saved my engine one time. Had I not checked in on my motor with HP Tuners, I would have had a bad day. So make sure to head over to hptuners.com and tell them that I sent you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's talk all about this Mercury Marauder. Hi everyone, David here. Today we are in one of my favorite cars Ford has ever made, not the Crown Vic, the Mercury Marauder. Now, the last time I drove the Marauder was actually right before the world ended in 2020. So it's been quite a while since I've driven the Marauder. But if you don't know what the Marauder is, why it's special, and why it looks like a Crown Vic, long story short, it's the cooler Crown Vic. Basically, they took the 4-valve V8 and put it in here, very much like the Mach 1 Mustang. The Crown Vic had the 2-valve, the Marauder had the 4-valve. But the Marauder had a really mean presence because they were black and they had the Marauder logo on it, and you're like, oh, that's the mean one, you know, compared to the other Crown Victoria. And with Mercury being gone, there is a little bit of like mysticism, right, behind the Mercury brand because you never see them anymore. The cool thing about the Marauder was not only was it the meaner Crown Vic, it was just a nicer car. The interior in this is absolutely mint, and it's held up pretty well for how old it is. But you still have the basically single spoke wheel that's very simple. Seating position, you sit a little high. I can go a little bit lower, but you sit kind of high in the Marauder. Simple gauges, simple interface, Ford interior, you got it. But what's special about this one is not that it's even a Marauder at all, it's what's under the hood and the transmission. Sure, the Marauder came with that really cool 4-valve V8, but Andrew from Mustang Lifestyle decided to turn it up, not by a little, but by a lot. So he put a Gen 3 Coyote from the Mustang, then he took the Predator engine blower from the 2020 Plus GT500 and also the Raptor R and slapped it on the Gen 3 Coyote. At first I actually thought it was a Predator swap, and then I got here, I was like, nah dude, it's just a Coyote with that blower. So that just bolted right on, pretty sick. Not only do we have this motor, we also have the 10-speed automatic transmission that you find like the Mustang GT and also the Raptor R. But what's really neat is that you don't see a lot of people swapping the 10-speed over to other platforms. Typically, S550, 10-speed with boost, very fast car. I owned one, I loved it, and then I got totaled by a Nissan Altima, but we don't have to talk about that either. 10-speed is a really unique setup, especially for like roll racing and driving on the street. Drag racing, debatable, but overall, it's a really cool transmission. And to fit the theme of the Predator blower, they also got a GT500 hood scoop on the Marauder as well. But this thing is an absolute hit everywhere it goes because people first they go, is it a Crown Vic? No. And then they go, oh, it's a Marauder. Cool. And then Andrew pops the hood, and then it's truly something. The 10-speed though, even though it's incredible, it does what we like to call 10-speed things. So there's a lot going on in the 10-speed, right? So if you hit it the wrong way in the automatic mode, essentially, it can kind of get confused sometimes, but when it works, it absolutely works. So essentially, with all this put together, it basically makes 900 wheel horsepower in a car that looks like this. Which is really exciting for me because sleepers are like my favorite thing ever. Sure, the hood scoop might give a little bit of the sauce away. Okay, maybe the wheels and tires too. Overall, if somebody saw this going down the road, they wouldn't think 900 horsepower. and that just makes my freaking day. That is just the coolest thing ever. Yeah, it did the thing. Okay. If you put like a normal street tire on this, God bless you. Bad idea. Would not do that ever. Plus, the way you sit in the Marauder, you sit a little high, but you can tell that it's almost like they didn't know what audience was gonna buy this car. It's like, do we do the old people thing with Mercury and Crown Vics that's supposed to be sold at an auction for $500? Or do we make it a little sporty and luxurious? So it's kind of this kind of weird middle ground, but it is very comfortable. But if you go around corners and stuff like that, you're gonna be sliding all over the place. The sound the Marauder makes it's kind of different, you know, compared to like the Mach 1 and the other things. It's very throaty, but the cool thing about this is that it doesn't have the Coyote rasp. You know, a lot of the times when you do Coyote stuff, it has that high pitch, high revving rasp. But this doesn't have it. It sounds like a Marauder. But I look down at this steering wheel, and then I look at the scope, and then I look ahead, and then I hear that behind me, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But look, that's like me big toeing it. So one thing about this car is the steering. They're still kind of working on the steering a little bit. So the power steering is a little intense right here, but it worked for me that time, so that's very good. One thing as well about the brakes. So the brakes, they work for a Marauder, but not for a 900 horsepower Mustang. So you do need to brake earlier than you think. And I was very easy on the brake, right? I just kind of squeezed onto it instead of trying to stab it, because that'd probably just make everything worse, right? No, I was shocked how smooth this was. I'm really surprised that it just dead hooked and went. And that was from like a 20-mile-an-hour roll, dude. Bro, this is Grandpa's Hellcat. That's exactly what this is. Because you get the blower whine, you get the loud exhaust of a Mustang, you have the comfort of a Crown Vic. This is weird. This is so weird. So you might have noticed that last pull is starting to get a little darty, you know, left and right. And instead of just committing to the bit, right? Because you can tell it's starting to get a little dicey in the back. Because believe it or not, this still uses the air system in the back. So it does a very good job, but there's a difference between brave and stupid with a car like this, right? It also has a Watts link, so you take a live axle or solid axle and you convince it to be better. Sweet. I had all that fun back there, and you really think people are gonna suspect me out of everybody? Yeah, unless I was literally at a red light causing a ruckus, right? If I was revving the car and being obnoxious and all that. No, not with this. Oh, by the way, my AC's been on this whole time. So I'm gonna turn that off. So that wasn't even all of it. This is still a victim of having the AC on, pulling a little bit of power, so. Okay. The 10-speed works, and yes, it definitely was faster with the AC off, for sure. For full transparency, Andrew from Mustang Lifestyle, who you should go subscribe to, by the way, because he's kind enough to let me drive this riot of a car. He's following me around, and he's gone. He's gone after that. So basically that time around, as I was getting on it, the steering wheel and my peripheral vision was getting a little crooked. That's how you know you're starting to get a little darty, right? So I had to be a little careful that time. Out of all like the sleepers I've driven that are a lot like this, like my friend Zach's Lincoln Town car that's now LS Turbo, there's so many cool like normal cars that you can make fast. That's what I love about projects like this, because you might have been handed down a Marauder right from your granddad or something, and you're like, you know what, that's my project car, and it's pretty sick. Whee! All right, Marauder. All right, Marauder. That's a good car. Oh, the roads are wet now. Good thing I had my fun. And now I'm driving normally with a 10-speed automatic transmission with AC blasting. It's not very common to have like a car project that's as weird as this. That's the complete full package. And I think Andrew did an amazing job on this thing. And what's really fascinating too is that the original plan for this car was to be naturally aspirated. And then he was like, whatever, it's already there. Let's just boost it. Yeah, it runs great, it idles great, there's nothing weird about it. He tunes as well. By the way, if you need a tune, he tunes cars too. It's always harder to review project cars that are actually really good. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it does the thing, right? It delivers the promise that it has Mustang horsepower, kind of basically GT500 horsepower at this point, right? Boosted Coyote horsepower, the 10-speed auto, which never really missed a beat today. Very impressive with that too. So you basically have to find that sweet spot, right? You want to find that sweet spot in the RPMs to make the 10-speed happy. And thankfully, it's pretty easy to do with this. Another thing too, with this blower setup, a lot of the times with blower cars, if you do enough pulls, you physically feel it getting slower. But the cooling setup in this is super efficient. So every time I've done an acceleration for this video, it feels the exact same. Basically the exact same. My butt dyno, my booty dyno, not changing. It's like, this is still a riot to drive. Gen 3 Coyote, Predator blower swapped, 10-speed transmission, Mercury Marauder. What did I think of it? It was actually better than I expected. I thought it was gonna be manhandling it a lot more today. But once it really got its stride, and it went dead straight and hooked up, it just did the thing. The braking, kind of scary. That's like the one thing on this car that's a little scary, but if you're in the middle of nowhere and you're goofing off, it's not a problem. You just have to be very patient with your braking. Like a modern car today where you can like do a pull and then nail the brakes and be like, all right, I'm good. I gotta plan ahead. I gotta plan my schedule for the Mercury Marauder. What time is it? It's pull time. I'm kind of speechless after this review because it's been awesome. But on that note, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy. Go subscribe to Andrew. See you guys next time. Bye.